Hey everyone, this is Shannon with PassionatePennyPincher.com, and I am here and I'm excited to be able to talk about insider trips to traveling. I love to travel, y'all. That is my weakness in life, between mission trips and traveling on vacation, I've been to a lot of other countries and in-state. So there are different ways of vacationing. So please, if you are hopping on, go ahead and tell me if you are going on vacation this year, what you're doing, where is your favorite place to vacation, where has been your favorite place, and where do you wish to go? Lots of questions there. So go ahead and pop in your answer. There are so many things to know while traveling, and hopefully I'll be able to save you lots and lots and lots of money if you're traveling this summer. But there are different ways. You can do a staycation. How many of y'all have done a staycation? And if you have, did you enjoy it? Staycation pretty much is just staying in your town and just taking a week off for all of y'all that work full time and just doing things around your city. There are ways to save on that you should not miss. And so there is also travel in the U.S. So there's places that you want to go to in the U.S. You can travel there. And then there are overseas travel. So you want to go to another country. So there are different ways to save. So let's talk about how to save on that. Let's talk about how to save money when we're traveling. Let's talk a little bit about a staycation. If you're doing a staycation and you're just hanging around the city, maybe your finances aren't able to go anywhere. The first thing I say is set a budget. Set a budget. No matter what kind of vacation, what we do is in the beginning of the year, in January, we sit down and we do a budget, me and my husband. I hate budgeting. I despise it. I know Dave Ramsey says that we're supposed to do it, and we do, because my husband's the nerd, I'm the free spirit. And so we set and say, okay, where are we going on vacation this year? And we kind of get a feel for where we want to go, and then we kind of put in our budget, how much. Yes, that does mean that we have to cut budget in other areas if we're going to do that. But wherever we go, that is what we're going to do. So I'm so glad everyone is hopping on. And please do tell me if you are going on vacation this year, where you're going to go. If you're doing a staycation, just tell me where is the place that you want to go. And then there is the overseas. So if you go overseas to a vacationing, how do you save on that too? So we're going to talk all about that. So as I'm waiting for people to go ahead and share this video as well with others who are traveling. Okay, let's talk staycation. There are a few ways to do Groupon. If you have a Groupon, you need to do that for a staycation, and just see what there is to do. Don't forget to look and see if there are concert in the park. We have that here. It's a total free thing, just a fun thing to take your kids, get a blanket, bring your own dinner, picnic, and just do concert in the park. It's a great way to get to know people in your community, and it's just a fun night. There are dollar movies. So if you want to take your kiddos to the dollar, you don't want to spend a lot on the movies, take them to the dollar. We actually have a few posts on PassionatePennyPincher.com that show you what movie listing there is and everything. There is also, if you are in a big city like New York or Boston or anywhere big city, Atlanta, check to see if your museums or somebody has a certain time of the day you can come in free. So when we were in New York, we went to the 9/11 museum. After 4 o'clock on Tuesdays, you can get in free. You just had to go wait in line. So that was a way that we saved probably, I think, $50 by just doing that. They do ask for donations, and so we didn't mind at all giving donations. It was an amazing museum. One of my favorite things that I did in New York. So there are ways to save. So make sure you can just go on and Google places in my area that have free things. So that's kind of staycation. And also check to see if there's a water park or something that has discounted rates. Now that is something that you'll have to do before season starts. We have a place here local that I get a season pass for. I get the season pass for half the price, and then that way we're able to go and we don't have to worry about if we go for a few hours because with the season pass it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so if you are driving, if you are going in the U.S. somewhere, so out of state, and you want to travel, so take advantage. You have to decide: is it worth driving or flying? So that's again, that goes back to your budget. Do you want to? Which one do you want to do? A lot of people don't like flying, so if that's the case and you're driving, don't forget to take advantage of your rest areas. Lori says that she loves, that's some of her favorite memories, family memories, is just going to the rest areas, getting out of the car, throwing the football around, just running around, letting the kiddos get some of that energy out because they've been so stored in that car all the time. If you are doing a long drive with little kiddos, I would suggest going to the Dollar Tree or the Dollar Spot at Target. Grab some goodie bags. Just make some little bags. You're not going to spend a lot of money on those bags, but maybe every 2 or 3 hours when they just get to where they're just done in the car, give them a goodie bag. That way they can see that they can have fun. You can have fun with it, and you're a hero. And Tanya, rest areas have nice parks. Yeah, Tanya, that's like another thing. If you have little ones, make sure to get that time set aside to be able to do that. Remember, those kiddos have a bundle of energy. They need to just get out of there. And so this is a fun thing that we did whenever we went. I can't remember where we went, but geocaching. There is geocaching, and then there is rock on, like paint rocks. I can't remember what I Googled to do that. But what it was is you paint rocks, and then you can go online and you can hide the rocks in places, and you can go find them. So if you're hiding, we actually did this when we were coming back from Fall Creek Falls, and we did geocaching. So my husband looked up, and we were able to find little things and sign our name. That was really fun. It's just a fun thing to do with your kiddos, and it's free. It's just completely free, and how cool of memories is that? The things that you can find and everything. So these are just fun things that you can do that are free while you're traveling. And it does take time. It's going to take a little time, but just remember, these are memories that you're creating. That's what's important. Okay, so how about hotels? Okay, so if you're doing hotels, I put a link on here. It was my New York trip. If you want to go to that link, it has every post that we've done for traveling. There is a post that we have for 7 tips to know before bidding on Priceline or Hotwire. So if you go to that post, you can go ahead and see how to save that way. And okay, so make sure you do that though, because bidding for hotels you should never pay full price for hotels, ever, ever, ever. And if you're flying somewhere, you have the choice of either Ubering, Subway if you're going to a bigger city, or rent a car. I would say if you're renting a car, where you're going, to me, I would say when we went to Hawaii, it was worth renting a convertible just because it was a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and we spent a little more doing that. Somebody had suggested that, and I thought that was a good idea. So it depends on where you're going. When we were in New York, we did the Subway, and that saved us a ton of money because we just got a week pass. My husband's really super smart. They have apps for everything, so you can do that as well. And then, so if you're flying, you can do that. So take those into account when you're budgeting. Are we going to fly? If we are, what is going to be our transportation while we're there? I am so glad, Felicia and Sonia, that y'all have hopped on. And if y'all have some tips of traveling, just please go ahead and put those links in. Oh, Marnie, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that you're in the hospital. I know that's just so tough. We are definitely going to be praying for you. Also, check to see if there are actually, okay, so let's go back to flights. If you are flying somewhere, make sure you see if the red eye usually is cheaper. I think it's called the red eye. It's usually cheaper. So if you're flexible in your time, make sure that you go ahead and get the cheaper flight. We were able to get really good cheap flights for the mission trip that we have coming up because we booked in advance. So if you know you're going, book in advance. You're going to get cheaper flight ticket or prices that way. Okay, so here's my main thing. Okay, if you're going to Disney or theme parks, if you are going to do that this summer, this is one thing that we do, and there's 2 reasons why we do it. Okay, if you're doing Disney and you're doing the meal plan, then this won't apply to you. But we usually don't do meal plans just because I feel like we just don't. But we haven't gone to Disney in forever. But if you don't do the meal plans, I would say bring some sandwich stuff and chips while they're on sale. Like right now we have peanut butter, buy one, get one free at Publix and on sale at Kroger. Grab those while like get peanut butter and jelly and then whenever you get to the place that you're at vacationing at, grab some fruit and produce. Make your sandwiches and chips and bring them to the theme parks. A lot of theme parks will let you bring them in, or you can just go out to your car and eat, which is what we do. I personally don't like eating, this is a weird, quirky thing of me. I don't like eating hot food when I'm in the sun. And so for me, eating a sandwich is so happy rather than eating something hot and greasy. But my stomach can't handle it anyway, but I would say definitely, and that saves right there $40, $50 because theme parks are super expensive. So I would just say definitely if you can do that and your kid, like I just remember one time when we were at Disney, my oldest daughter, she was probably, I think 12 or 13. And y'all, she was so embarrassed that we brought her lunch and she looked around and she's like, Mom, this is so embarrassing that we brought our own lunch. Like no one does this. And you could tell she was embarrassed. And I was like, you know what, Alexis, here's the thing. We are able to afford to go do this because we're frugal and because we're doing things like this rather than spending a lot of money on things that, and as I was telling her this, I kid you not, God does this sometimes. There was like 3 or 4 families that sat in front of us all at the same time and they all pulled out their sandwiches and started eating. And so I looked at her and I was like, so what about no one else does this? And so I say, you know, definitely there's no shame in that, I say. Also, you can bring a crock pot to your hotel. That's why the Ninja 4-in-1s are awesome because you can put the food in the crock pot and then you can go and then you can come to the hotel and eat that night. Now, vacationing is nice when you have some time off of cooking. So I wouldn't say do that every night. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some budgeting room to get some food out because it is fun to go out to eat and to new restaurants and everything. So there is a balance, y'all. Just remember there's a balance, but it's whatever your budget can afford. If you can't afford to go out to eat, but you want to go on vacation, then there's no shame in that. At least you're getting to go. And if your budget can't afford a vacation at all, there's no shame in that either. I mean, really. So this is huge, huge. Pack your own water bottle. Just bring your water bottle everywhere you go. I have my water bottle I take everywhere. Every place that we go to, I've always taken a water bottle. And that saves you a ton of money because everywhere you go, there's a water fountain. Or if you go out to eat at a restaurant, like a fast food place, you can fill that water bottle up and you can never have to pay for water. Because y'all, they've charged $2 or $3 for bottles of water, which is insane. And so if you can think of how much money you will save by just bringing your own water bottle and getting that filled up. So those are just kind of tips and tricks in the United States. I would say definitely, I'm sure I missed some, but we also, like I said, you can go to that New York Post, and it kind of tells you a lot of the things. And so there are other ways to save overseas. So if you are overseas traveling, save time too. Yeah, exactly, Sonny. It does save time. So if you're traveling overseas, I would say, again, if you do not have points, like for a certain airline, get them. We actually were able to go to New York for free flying with our points, because we go on a lot of mission trips and stuff. So we were able to get to all 4 of us to go. But we flew into we didn't fly into JFK. We flew into LaGuardia, or I always say that wrong. And so that was it. We were able to get all 4 tickets free. So there are ways to save on airline. Again, you can do the Travelocity and the Hotwire and Priceline. Do those things. And also, we always put up posts on Southwest, like whenever they have their flights for like $69 and stuff like that. So watch Passionate and Penny Pincher, and if they have those, then we will post those as well. And so overseas, the one thing I want you to do is, Nicole is amazing, and I had her, like, there was a few lightning deals this morning, and of things that I think you should probably need, so I'm going to pop this in here if I can. And so if you're going overseas, make sure you bring an adapter. And so, because adapters overseas, you're not gonna be able to plug in your phone or anything like that. So when we just got back from Israel for vacation, and that adapter really saved us. And so, okay, and so there is also, make sure you get some masks for the flight if you're doing a long flight, because those are just kind of important to have. Overseas, make sure you bring peanut butter And I say that, and then the fold out bread, just because especially if you're going on a mission trip or something, you need that protein. Sometimes you're just not going to eat the food they had. I will have to be honest. When I was in Israel, I didn't eat a whole lot of the food. I kind of lived off of ice cream and peanut butter because I'm super picky, y'all. So make sure wherever you go overseas, pack peanut butter, pack snacks. So get them while they're buy one, get one free or on sale at Kroger. Pack them in your bag. You can put anything in your travel bag as far as snacks and everything on your flight and everything. Oh, Heather, I am so sorry you are allergic to peanut butter. That saddens me because I live off of peanut butter because I love it. But here, I'm going to pop this link in there for the adapter. So I would say definitely make sure you bring an adapter. I'm trying to think of other things to make sure, like as far as if you're going on overseas as well in a hot area, make sure you pack, this is gonna sound crazy y'all, but make sure you pack Preparation H wipes. Just if you're in a hot area, this prevents infections. And so I would say definitely grab those, and liners. You can, baby powder. I know people have issues with baby powder, but I would definitely say pack those things just with the heat. If you're going to sweat a lot, those are just things that you need to know, girl things that you need to know, but people just don't talk about. And so also overseas, make sure you figure out the culture before going. That way you don't offend anybody of the culture overseas as well. That's just important to know. There are things like Google Translator that you can learn some of their languages and stuff like that. So there's just fun things that you can do when you're traveling overseas. And so I would say definitely check out the post. I have one post on mission trips. That can go for any country basically. I also have for cruise. How many of y'all are cruising? How many of y'all are going on a cruise? Can I get a heart or like if y'all are just cruising this year? I know a lot of people, you either love them or you hate them on cruises. So if you're doing a cruise, so there are a few things. So cruises you can get good deals on if you like buy your cabins and when you're gonna go. So there's a post on that as well. I did a post on like how to do that. The one thing I want to say though is if you're on vacation, can you please unplug from your phone? I will have to say it was so nice when we were in Israel. I did not get on the computer the whole time pretty much. I was not on my phone. I got to talk to my girls, got to talk to my husband. It was just so nice. So I would say, if anything, this is just more of a personal thing. Unplug. Don't be on Facebook all the time. Don't be on, just get to know your family, you know, and get to talk to them. It was nice because my oldest didn't have her phone either, and she's glued to it. And so it was really nice to have her attention without her being on her phone all the time. And it kind of convicted me that I'm on my phone a lot too. Oh, Joy, that is so smart. So Joy says she froze water bottles, then she put them in the cooler along with the strap and carried them on the backpack. That's so smart, and it keeps all your stuff cold as well. So and so you can, Darlene, in Mexico City, yeah, you can only use it. Well, we have T-Mobile, and T-Mobile has an amazing overseas plan. I don't know if y'all know that, but there's a lot of places we go overseas that we can still use our phone, but I still stayed off of it. I just did not want to be glued to it. I didn't get on Facebook. I didn't do work. I didn't do anything. It was so freeing and so nice, and I just enjoyed it so much. And so, yeah, I totally would say to do that. Okay, another thing, Hawaii. Whenever I went to Hawaii, we brought our own food. That saved us a ton. Hawaii is just expensive, y'all. We went for our 10th anniversary. It's one thing I always ask my husband for, and we saved and went. And it was definitely, I'm so glad I brought granola. I brought peanut butter, and I was able to just buy bananas, made peanut butter and banana sandwiches, and I bought yogurt while I was there, had a granola and flaxseed, just put that in there. It saved us a ton of money. I looked at the prices there and it was insane. So, and we also, I'm so cheap, I think I even brought cereal that time, and we just had to buy milk. So there are ways to save. There are ways to be able to go on vacation and not get into debt. That's why I say budget, don't go into debt. because if you can't afford to go, then you shouldn't go, is my theory. And when me and my husband first got married, we didn't go on vacation for the first couple of years. If we did, they were extremely frugal because we had to get out of my debt. I brought debt into the marriage. And so while we were working on getting out of debt, we have to go without. And I'm okay with that because now we're seeing the benefits of it. Years, you know, we're almost married for 13 years. Coming up next in about 10 days, we'll be married for 13 years. So that's what I say. So there's ways. So if you can't afford to travel now, just remember, if you live frugal, start couponing and start doing things to save that way. Disney people, a lot cheaper items at Target. Darlene, you brought up a great point. So when you go to theme parks, buying things in the gift shop and everything, do you really need to buy things in the gift shop? I don't know. I would give my kids a budget, and that's what we do. We give our kids a budget when we go on vacation. We say, this is your budget. You have this to spend. You can spend on whatever you want, but don't ask us for things. We'll pay for your food. We'll pay for your needs. That's paying for your wants. So we give them a budget. That way they can learn how to budget as well. So if you're overseas, as you can tell, I have my Atlanta Braves. I got this in Israel, believe it or not. So you can learn to negotiate prices. My daughter had to buy t-shirts for a whole bunch of people. So because we were buying in bulk, I got this. They were normally 20 bucks. We ended up getting them for $8 because we talked the guy down because we bought a lot. Now you want to at least give them, you don't want to rip them off because they have to make a living and everything. So, but if you're in overseas, they know Americans have money. So they just up the price so much. So you can talk them down some. I wouldn't say like just be reasonable and everything. And there is power in walking away. Yeah. So, I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Lori said you can buy things like postcards for each city that you can keep in a binder in front, and then you can get different types of food because if you don't want to buy things to clutter, you know, because honestly, if your kids are spending 20, 25 bucks on a toy, in 5 years, they're not going to care about that toy. But if you have things that are memorable, like a postcard or something memorable, then that means so much more. So I would say definitely. And the kids learn how to budget. They learn needs versus wants. And they really, to me, I hope that our kids have enjoyed that. So is there any other questions on traveling? I hope that y'all enjoyed this. Please share it with others. I was kind of excited about this because I think traveling is something I love to do. But I also love to save money, so you can do both. And just to allow people, I would love to know if some of y'all start couponing, and if you're able to go on vacation, please let us know, because that would make my day. Does anybody have any questions? I did put that link in for the adapter earlier. Yeah, that's a great idea, Diane. Keychains are magnets. That's awesome. You know, and that's things that are cool, you know. And so, is there any other questions? I put the thing for the adapter. That's a lightning deal. That's not going to be available after today. And the mask, the eye mask, they do give those to you on the flights usually, but this is just a nicer one if you don't want the one that the flights give you. Donna, thank you so much for sharing. So yeah, so there's ways to save. I hope you enjoyed this live. I was really excited when I asked Lori if I could do it. If there's any other questions, please feel free to ask. I am going to be back on this afternoon and I will go ahead and answer, but we have an awesome team that answers questions and they're just amazing. We just do. We have an amazing team. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask, and I hope y'all have a great day. Don't forget to share this and let us know. Oh, you know what? That's another thing. One other thing, and then I'm going to get off. If you are going to the beach or something, VRBO. VRBO is your place. And what I do is here's what I do for VRBO, and then I'm going to hop off. I kind of just say, what is the best price available? Or if my budget is, so say I'm going and my budget is $500, I will just, whenever I do VRBO and contact the owner, I'll just say, will you take $500 for this? Or, you know, if that's my budget. And sometimes they say no, and sometimes they say yes. And a lot of the times I have to choose. I don't ask for like an obscene less price or anything. I just kind of do what our budget is and everything. So yeah, so that I would say that for VRBO, kind of negotiate. Always negotiate, y'all. The worst that can happen is they say no, and then but always ask. It doesn't hurt. So I hope y'all have a fabulous day. I am hoping to spend the day at the pool with my little one because I promised her I would. So I'm going to hop off and head before the rain comes. Have a great day, y'all. And don't forget to share this. Thank y'all so much for joining.